Hey, all, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Today, I want to discuss self-awareness and the dangers of, not being so aware. Self-awareness, for those who don't know, it's the ability to sort of recognize and understand your own thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your values. Involves being conscious of how your actions, feelings, and how they align with your inner beliefs and, your moral compass. And developing self-awareness, it leads to, personal growth, improved relationships, and better decision-making skills. But it's just not something we're born with. See, it involves practices such as mindfulness, reflection, and for some people, the hardest part, feedback from others to basically gain those insights into your own, patterns of thinking and ways of behaving. Here's the thing: if you aren't willing to be self-aware, then this can cause some serious issues in your life. In today's fast-paced world, one of the challenges, self-awareness, is often hindered by several factors. One significant barrier is the lack of, reflection. People are willing to do. Many individuals don't take time to contemplate their thoughts and actions, inhibiting the process of self-discovery, usually to, distract from everything around themselves, especially with that little device that we all sort of carry in our hands, right? I mean, think about the cell phones. While incredibly convenient and powerful tools for productivity and keeping in touch with everybody, it's also contributed to a limiting amount of time that we think, right? Think about, like, before we had cell phones, you'd have to maybe sit there and think about things or contemplate things, maybe look around, be, more of a participant in the world that's going around you, right? But, nowadays with constant notifications and messages, they create this perpetual state of, distraction. Like every ping or buzz demands our immediate attention, interrupting our thoughts and preventing, our focus and contemplation. The instant access to information, via our phones nowadays also means that we seldom allow ourselves the mental space to ponder or explore topics in depth, right? Instead of just relying on our own memory or critical thinking skills, we quickly grab our phones and we look up the information, on our phones. We get it there instantly, and this kind of hampers, believe it or not, our ability to reflect and analyze on certain things. Sorry, I probably just went on a little bit of a tangent there, but it's all true. I mean, look, I'm just as guilty as at times, I'm just self-aware about it. So, moreover too, in regards to tying into our phones, the addictive nature of social media. And of course, we got all our entertainment apps, all of our streaming apps are on our cell phones. This also leads to like mindless scrolling and consumption of additional content. And again, this is all leaving little room for reflection or introspection in our lives. And in essence, the constant presence and use of our cell phones has significantly reduced our opportunities for contemplation and intellectual exploration, and our time to think deeply and meaningfully and become more self-aware. It's really all been inhibited by the cell phone there. We're occupying every free moment of our waking lives, leaving very little room to reflect. And it's just think about, like, I like to do this little favorite bagel place, but even I catch myself sometimes. I'm sitting there, I get online, instead of just sitting there, I pull out my phone, right? I start looking at things, start scrolling through things. And what is everybody else online doing? Looking at their phones, scrolling through things. I just try to be a little bit more mindful of it. But it happens. And this was times where we used to connect with the people behind us or in front of us, or, we used to just, take time to think. But for some people, the cell phone has been amazing for them because, some people just choose to bury themselves in their devices or anything else they can to resort to denial of avoidance, steering clear of uncomfortable truths about themselves, thereby limiting their self-awareness. They're too scared to face who they really are. Some individuals fear confronting uncomfortable truths about themselves due to deep emotional and, psychological impact such these revelations can have on them. Facing one's flaws or mistakes or insecurities can evoke feelings of shame, guilt, or even vulnerability. And, all of this is inherently uncomfortable. What do we don't want to be as human beings? We don't want to be uncomfortable, right? But I would say, nothing good comes when you're comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you are complacent. It's when we're uncomfortable, we are forced to make changes. Also, let's just look at societal pressures, and the fear of judgment compounds the issue, right? Preventing people from delving into their feelings and thoughts. Cultural and social influences play a pivotal role as well. Societal norms often discourage self-reflection and promote conformity, creating obstacles to genuine self-awareness. I mean, that's why, governments love conformity. And by the way, this is not a political statement, so just hear me out. This is actually not bad. In some ways, again, conformity is, it's not bad. Conforming to societal norms and expectations creates stability and social order. When individuals conform to rules, laws are put in place for the greater good. It promotes predictability and reduces social unrest. It should never be used as a means to stifle individuality or creativity or diversity of thoughts. Maybe a better decision would have been like this: my kid's car lines. I don't know how many parents out there. You got to go get on a car line, right? I didn't do car line when I was a kid. It was school buses, but we drive our kids to school, whatever. We have to get a car line. The thing about the car line is very ordered there. You have to get in this line, and they got numbers, and they got letters, and they got all this wonderful stuff. And we all sort of conform to it, because we didn't. If people just pulled up, parked whatever they wanted, it would be a mess. It'd be chaos. So when it comes to car lines, conformity, not a bad thing. One of the other interesting things about social awareness, where a lot of people can struggle with, is limited life experiences, especially a lack of exposure to diverse situations and people. This can definitely restrict one's ability to comprehend different perspectives and facets of their own personality. I sometimes think this is the greatest issue with the world, narrow-minded points of view. Social media has given a voice to millions who have seen nothing, exposed to nothing, know everything, right? The thing is, when you have exposure to the world through diverse experiences, cultures, perspectives, it broadens one's understandings of humanity. It's fostering empathy and tolerance. It encourages the development of critical thinking skills, allowing individuals to question their beliefs and assumptions, promoting personal growth and intellectual curiosity. Ultimately, when you can combine good self-awareness and exposure to the world, it basically nurtures a very well-rounded individual who's capable of understanding themselves and embracing diversity altogether. But look, the lack of self-awareness it poses significant dangers in various aspects of life. Without self-awareness, there's a good chance that, if you're somebody who's not very self-aware, you might find it challenging to navigate relationships effectively. You may struggle to understand your own emotions and reactions to situations, why you're reacting that way. It's going to lead to misunderstandings and conflicts along with others. If you're in a professional situation, professional, what's the word I'm looking for here? Great professional situation. A lack of self-awareness can hinder career growth, moving up the ladder without recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses. You might make some really bad decisions. You might miss some opportunities to improve yourself that might enhance those opportunities. And you might just, overall just struggle to work and collaborate with other people that you might have to. So in terms of, the mental and emotional impact, your well-being, with a lack of self-awareness, individuals, if they're not doing this, they might not be addressing unresolved issues. These unresolved issues, a lot of times the underlying, factors by, why we're doing what we're doing and how we're reacting to things. This is why it's leading to stress, anxiety, dissatisfaction in life. In short, without self-awareness, personal growth and development, it all becomes stunted. You might find yourself unable to identify, areas for improvement and work towards becoming the best possible you to present to the world. I guess ultimately, the absence of self-awareness, you can find yourself in a cycle of stagnation, affecting relationships, career prospects, and overall your life satisfaction. Wow, that's a lot. So how do we improve our self-awareness? Take time to get to know you. Be open to it. Get mindful, relax, put away the phone, read books if you have to, if you want to work on you, attend some workshops, or even consider a coach. Hey, to help you get past maybe certain roadblocks or challenges you might be having. That might be the neutral feedback you might be looking for, right? Sometimes we go to our friends and our families and they think they know what's best, but they're going to tie in their whole life and their situations and how they perceive things to give you the feedback on you. Maybe you need a neutral person. Maybe if you're dealing with a lot of things, it's therapy, it's counseling, but continue learning about your own psyche, your behaviors and the triggers that can, if you can learn about all that stuff, that can lead to profound self-awareness and of course, personal growth in your life. By increasing your self-awareness, it can enhance your emotional intelligence, which is basically recognizing, understanding, and managing your own emotions. So becoming more self-aware, this is going to help you to contribute to more of a fulfilling and authentic life. And that's really what we're here for, right? Nobody wants to be miserable. Maybe some people want to be miserable, but, we all want to have good lives. And it's a process. We have to keep working. I too am continually working, continually growing, continually learning. Doing this podcast, thank you. Thank you for giving me a platform to continue to learn and better myself. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. So please make sure we're working on our self-awareness. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. For those who are new to me here on YouTube, I just got here, but I've been doing my podcast for over a year. So Apple, Spotify, all the major platforms. But, if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It's really important. It's funny how many people I get emails from, but then I'm like, well, wait a second. Nobody's hitting that subscribe button. So, and same thing on Apple and Spotify. I see how many people download, but I'm like, nobody's hitting that button. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being with me. And as always, don't forget, you can find me on my website at mikemuldoonlc.com. Go there. You can learn more about me as well for those who are just coming to get to know me. And if you ever want a coaching session, you want some of that, maybe that neutral feedback, you can always just, go, let's get an assessment session in there. But other than that, go to my website, take a look at that. And as always, I got nothing but love for you.